is Anna Bradford, the Associate Director here at Millersville University. So I lead all recruitment and admissions related initiatives. So I actually read applications, help students with the initial process of obtaining their I-20 to pursue the F1 visa. And I'm really one of the staff here that is a one-stop shop to be able to get you from where you are right now to our campus, should you choose to attend Millersville. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you about this topic. I really love working with students during this season of life. It's very exciting. There's so many possibilities in front of you, so many things for students to be able to explore and think about. And for some students, it can be really overwhelming. There are a lot of challenges and things to consider that maybe you never had to before. Perhaps transitioning to university is the first time you've ever lived away from your family. Maybe you've never been out of the country, and this would be your first time studying or interacting with education from another country. So today we're really going to talk about what changes and things you can anticipate, what those changes might look like, and here's a potential list of some of them. And then also some of the skills that you'll need and you can develop on campus and how to prepare for that while you're currently in high school. So right here, you can see a simple list of some of the immediate changes to think about when you're considering transitioning from high school going to university. And as you'll notice, they really are divided into two main things: personal changes and academic changes. And a lot of those personal changes are just the reality of no longer living with your parents, no longer living with your family. When you come to university, you'll have a roommate. That roommate's not going to remind you when to eat, when to wake up. They're not going to help you with the cleaning in your house. So there's just a lot of realities of being an adult and living independently that you're going to have to think about at the same time of thinking about all of the academic changes. So your everyday going to university, Monday through Friday, probably is pretty standard. You have certain classes you go to, maybe there's after school activities, but you pretty predictably know you're going to be in class from maybe 8:30 in the morning to 3 or 4 o'clock p.m. and your day is pretty structured. But when you're in university, you might have one class that is at evening on Tuesdays. You'll have 3 classes that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday at different times for 1 hour. You'll have another class that's maybe 2 days a week for an hour and a half. And then if you have a part-time job or you have volunteer experience or research, there's a lot for you to look at within the schedule. And when you get comfortable, another semester comes and then your schedule changes again. So those skills that you build right now for multitasking and balance are going to be more important than ever when you start your university career. And some of those essential skills that are going to be able to help you balance and manage all these new changes can kind of be broke down to these 4 major areas: being able to master communication, having strong independence, being able to self-advocate and recognize what your needs are, and the social skills to be able to balance everything in front of you and make new relationships and build a future in front of you. So what I'm going to talk about next is really dive more into what these skills are and what that could look like for you at university. I actually find the most motivating way to develop skills is to have an image of what that future could look like for you. And then I'll wrap up by talking about what that looks like for you on your day-to-day right now while you're still in high school. So starting with communication, there's really 2 sides to communication for you to develop. And I want to talk about each one of those independently. The first being verbal communication. And when a lot of students hear verbal, they think speeches, like what's happening right now in this picture, and they can get scared. The reality is, in a university education in the United States, speech class is going to be one of your requirements. It's something that you're going to encounter, but that's not the only type of verbal communication that's really going to set you up for success. Every job you will ever have will incorporate you talking to people about things you know that maybe they don't know. And that can be one-on-one communication, communication within a meeting, public speaking. And there's so many ways for you to be able to develop those skills. Some of that will happen in the classroom, perhaps in presentations or group projects where you're communicating together, working towards a goal. or it could actually happen in clubs. You might be involved in clubs now, but I love to highlight for students that there's so many more club options for you when you get to university. This right here, what you're seeing is actually a screenshot of the website where we organize student clubs for students to be able to participate. We have over 170 clubs on our campus, and you can see just a little screenshot of the types of clubs that you'll encounter: academic, arts and cultures, what would be known as Greek life or fraternity and sorority, some identity-based clubs, there's volunteerism, so many different ways for you to develop that verbal communication in a fun way that actually can lead you to networking that will help you in your future career. So the clubs that you're involved in now will help get you a little bit of a taste of what that can look like, but just know ahead of you are a lot more options. And also written communication skills. While there might be artificial intelligence and tools like ChatGPT that are in the future for you, you will always have to know when, where, and how to be able to use written communication. And there will always be times where what you personally write or what you personally edit is going to really impact your job or your grade. So the skills you're thinking about now, while you're doing your various assignments at high school, you can get additional support in universities such as tutoring, additional writing courses. For example, the picture on the slide is from our Instagram of our writing center. They had an event for students to be able to prepare for our Made in Millersville. It's actually a homegrown conference that we're holding next week. And that's an example where, as a university student, you can use those verbal and written communication skills for research. We have this conference for students of all grade levels, so you can start as early as your first year in university, seeking research, being able to have that and do posters, which you can see that person doing here, and have it published. We have a Made in Millersville journal that some really industrious students can use to have their work republished. So there's a lot of avenues for you to explore communication. It's more than just your day-to-day and what you see in your classroom right now, but what the skills and the foundation you're building today are going to turn into some really exciting things in university. And we've had students involved in this go on to immediately a PhD or master's degree in their area of interest. But these skills and the confidence you gain in presenting will serve you well in your future career. Independence is another skill that's going to be vital for you as you move forward. And independence is going to really manifest for you in a lot of different ways. It's more than just being able to do things on your own. It's making those good choices about where you're going to spend your time, choices about what you're going to study, where you're going to study. There are universities all over the United States and all over the world. And that type of choice is really going to impact so much of your future goals and what you do with your career. And those kind of choices, the skills you are making today as you choose coming to class, choosing to attend different presentations, choosing the amount of energy you place into what you're doing in school, really set that tone and foundation. And those choices you make when you have a supportive high school are going to be choices that really define your university experience. So for example, this next slide, these are 3 students that I know well that are about to graduate this semester at Millersville University. And as they graduate, we ask all of them, hey, what was your peak experience from your time here on campus? And Yasser really chose to talk about the fact that he got involved in a club. He was able to help lead and establish a new chapter of that club. I know that Yasser, he's about to graduate. He did his bachelor's at Millersville and went on to his master's. He was able to get a relevant internship experience, and that confidence he got in establishing this club helped him be able to interview and go out into a marketing job and talk to his audiences and think about that particular position. Another one is Regina, also about to graduate. She's had an internship experience in counseling and found that as a peak experience, that communication and that independence to make that decision and take the next step for an internship was pivotal for her. But Yi, the real thing that she chose to focus on here is the ability to take advantage of her resources and what's around her. So each of these students had a different peak experience, but really enjoyed what was before them here on campus. And they're really looking forward to these next steps about to graduate, really looking forward to seeing them in that cap and gown within the next month. And the self-advocacy, while independence is very important, it's always important to know when you need help and knowing how to ask for that help. Knowing your limitations is not a weakness, it's a strength. And as you learn those things, then you lean on the assistance of your peers, of tutors, of the different departments available to you on your university campus. You will be successful in the classroom and help others be successful. Knowing your own limitations help you realize that others around you have them, and everyone with you together can be successful moving forward as a team. And there are offices on campus. For example, today you're meeting me in the very first introduction of Millersville University. My office is part of International Programs and Services. So from the very beginning, the first time you hear about Millersville, all the way until after your alumni, I know I'm keeping in touch with those students' pictures that you've just seen. You have support and consistency for you. And so not only do you have that support that you've experienced right now in high school, you can expect that and see that grow while you're at university. And lastly, social skills. I know you've had conversations about how to interact with the world around you. You've been taught throughout your years in high school, what's expected of you in the classroom when you go into a certain situation, what you can anticipate, what the expectations of your assignments might be, what the expectations of certain interactions might be. And every stage of your life, those expectations are going to change. And as you go to university, you're going to experience culture shock as well if you choose to study outside of your home country. But there is support, and there's a lot of amazing ways in which you can engage and learn more about the university around you. For example, every university is going to have a calendar of events, and this is a great kind of low risk way for you to be able to explore different options, get more interest in what other things are out there. For example, this is just a screenshot of some of the things that happened yesterday here on campus, but there's a lot of different research that happens on campus. There's a lot of different speakers that will visit, shows that come, and you never know, you can make a lifelong friend, but also you might make a connection that will change your career path moving forward. So those really are the ways in which these essential skills that will prepare you to be a university student will prepare you for success in the classroom. Other ways that you can pair right now, of course, are focusing on your academics. Those are going to be one of the key ways that you're able to choose and have options of universities to attend. The important thing to know is, of course, good grades, strong grades are important for you, but consistency in those grades as well. Your everyday consistency in what you submit and how you perform is going to be very important. And for you seniors, remaining that consistency all the way until you graduate is going to be very important for you as well. Building relationships with your teachers and college counselors. Not only will they get to know you and help you be able to develop those skills that I've just mentioned, but when it comes time to apply, they're going to be those resources to point you in a different direction or write letters of reference for you. And the way that they can do that best is really interacting with you, and they'll be able to see those skills that I just mentioned on display, and they'll be able to communicate to counselors, people like myself that read applications, that yes, this student is ready, this student is prepared for the challenges up ahead and can adapt well. Developing those good study habits. As I mentioned, there's not going to be as much structure as you're used to right now. So the habits you develop right now, they will come with you as you come across the world or wherever you go to university. And that will help set the tone for what you can anticipate in that new season of your life. Those extracurricular activities, try different things now, but have some consistency in what you do. There are universities that are looking at the extracurriculars you're involved in now during the reading process, but also those extracurriculars will help you maybe choose your potential career path or ways you can get involved on campus once you arrive. Every break that you have, use those productively. Maybe do an internship or part-time job. I've had students that have told me, I don't have a lot of extracurriculars. I actually spent all of my time working at a family business. I don't have a lot that I did after school. That's a lot that you did after school. The skills that you have working at a family business or assisting and taking care of a family member, those display and demonstrate all of those skills that I just mentioned to you. And a very important skill is being able to know that what you're doing now, how that contributes to your communication skills, your social skills, your independence. When you're writing a goal statement for university, being able to translate all of that into those 4 skill areas that I just mentioned is going to be key and very helpful for you to advocate for yourself and say, what I need is the kind of institution I'm applying to today. And that'll be a very powerful statement for someone like me to read. And just continuing to build those life skills. Learn to cook from your mom today. You're going to miss her food tomorrow. Things along those lines to prepare you for the life ahead, as you'll be far from home and wanting to have that taste of home when you're away. Other considerations to think about when you're in the process of applying to university are the academics and supports from different faculty and staff. These are the different things that are available to you on a university campus, and those types of supports will help you explore which university could be a good fit for you. And actually, I will be covering a lot of this information as I transition to talking to you about my institution. And what I like to highlight as I talk to you about my institution is really the core values and the focus of our institution. So if you go on our Millersville University website, what you'll see is EPIC values, and we spell EPIC this way on purpose. Our university really embraces these different values of exploration, public mission, professionalism, inclusion, and compassion in all that we do. And as I introduce my institution to you and talk to you about what can prepare you for university, I hope that you see these reflected in that information. So Millersville University, or affectionately known as the Ville, is located on the continental United States in the East Coast in the state of Pennsylvania. And we are in a great location, very accessible to world-class cities like New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., all within about a 2.5-hour radius of time to get there. We're accessible directly by train to New York City and Philadelphia, and about an hour, we are accessible by train to Washington, D.C., but it's actually easier to get there by car. So there's a lot of great opportunities for students to be able to engage with not only companies, but fun experiences in those areas. I always like to introduce our president, Dr. Wuba. He came to the United States as an international student himself, so he knows the journey and the decisions that you're making right now. And he's also the king of his tribe in Ghana. He actually is leading the university by day, and at night leading a tribal council in his home country. And he actually brought a delegation over from Ghana within a few months ago. So we do have an international perspective from the very top of our university down, and that really colors a lot of what happens in our campus. Millersville was established in 1855 as a teacher's college, but now we have over 100 different programs and 4 different colleges. So there is a lot of resources, but a rich history and strong support academically on our campus. And we have a number of awards and recognitions consistently recognized by US News and World Report as one of the top 30 universities in the northern region. We are also recognized for our diversity. So the Insight into Diversity Award we've had for 11 years in a row. So over a decade of being recognized for celebrating diversity and equity. There's only 140 institutions in the US with over 3,000 institutions. That is quite a high honor and something we're very proud to talk about. So this slide here will give you some of the numbers and logistics of our campus. We're mid-size, so just under 7,000 students. And I mentioned we have over 100 programs and different things that you can engage with. There's over 170 student clubs. So that's a way for you can really expand your realm and have a lot new exciting experiences here on campus. But also a lot of attention from your professors, so that 19-to-1 student to teacher ratio means that there's a lot that you can do, a lot of research opportunities ahead of you, but you'll still get to talk with your teachers, get to know your classmates. So on this slide, you can see some of the most popular programs for undergraduate students. But with over 100 different programs, there's options for you to have one major, a major, and a minor, potentially two majors. If you don't know what you want to do right now, that's completely okay. We also have a program known as the exploratory program, where students can have some time to be able to explore their own skill strengths, get some advising from faculty, and be able to choose your major later. So maybe your second year here on campus or at the end of your first year. So that's just a mini introduction to our campus. Next, I'm going to talk about the application process. If you happen to be a senior or a junior preparing for the next year, these are the kind of things that you can consider in applying. Our university largely asks for two things during the application process. We have no application fee. So the first thing is a demonstration of English language proficiency. So there are a variety of ways in which you can demonstrate that. So that might be the curriculum type that you're using right now, or one of about 12 to 13 different English language exams that we do recognize. You can submit a copy of that during the application process, or a copy of your transcripts. So if you're still in school at the time in which you apply, we would just need the most 3 recent years of your education and copies of that uploaded to your application portal. And we would use that to issue a decision, and we can use unofficial copies at that time. If your academics, maybe you struggled slightly, in that case, we might ask for a recommendation, or we would ask from a 300-word statement to learn a little bit more about you, to take a holistic approach in reading your application. If you submit your application, you'll see reference to some immigration materials. Those items aren't needed until after the application is submitted. So this next slide is going to talk about the costs of attendance here at Millersville. This is what is known as the sticker price. It is the price at the high level of how much we quote university to cost. But I can tell you, none of our undergraduate first-year students pay $34,000 because of the awards that I'm going to mention on this next slide. So we have multiple awards listed here, and there are 2 of those awards that my office facilitates. So one of them is a merit-based scholarship that's going to be looking at your grades. That grade point average will articulate here, and you could be extended an award between $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000, which would stack with potentially some of these other awards. 2 of the awards are offered by different programs. So our honors program offers an award that is for about 10 students that participate in specialized curriculum. That's an additional $1,000 stacked on what would be your merit-based scholarship. And we're also an NCAA Division II institution. So we have about 18 different athletics teams. And if you're recruited by a coach to participate on a team, you could potentially be extended an award, which would be able to be stacked with the other 2 I mentioned. The other award, and this award is automatic, and the reason why no student pays the fee that I just told you on the previous slide, is a reduced tuition grant. So every first-year student has an automatic award of $6,000, and all these awards I mentioned are renewable. If they've been extended to you, they are able to be renewed. If it's based off of GPA for merit-based, or for a reduced tuition, all you have to do is stay full-time, which will be a requirement for you if you come on an F1 visa. There's also options for students to be able to work on campus or to pay in an installment plan. So there are a lot of options for you to be able to study here and finance your education. So they're listed here on this next slide are the 3 major reasons. Oh, I just skipped one. The 3 major reasons why students choose Millersville University. It's a great location with a safe and friendly campus and a very charming and historic county that students enjoy experiencing. So thank you for letting me present to you and tell you a little bit about how to prepare to be a university student and about our institution. And I look forward to being able to answer your questions.